Six-pack Lapadat. We got newly crowned 105 kilo U.S. champ and punch your ticket to IPF Worlds, Anthony McNaughton. And I was just saying before we started recording, like I thought U.S. Nats was wild. This must be crazy for you.
Yeah, unreal. I'm still processing everything. It's been an amazing last few days and a lot of reflection, you know. It's been crazy.
Really? Because going into this, Keenan Lee hopped on the podcast, and like we know Keenan Lee because he's been in some big battles,
Yes.
with Bob, with Ash, and he's been around, right? And he came on the podcast. Did you hear about how confident he was coming in?
I listened to the podcast. Yeah. Yeah. I listened to the podcast.
That's so. What were you thinking about all that?
Well, first off, I mean, hats off to Keenan. He's been a big dog since the beginning of time, since I've been a nothing, right? So all respect there. I love the confidence. It fired me up though, you know, it put a flame under me that I needed. And I know you talked to Rondell a little bit on the podcast. I took it personal, you know,
It's
but
as it should. Like, first off, when Keenan comes on, anybody comes on talking that confidently, it's good just for like promotion wise to get people like all wound up. And then B, it creates a storyline.
yeah.
Now there's a lot more tension than there might have been. And I can't tell you how many people hopped in my DMs and were like, fuck, man, Anthony just ruined homies with what honeymoon. And they were like, because that was part of the story. However, to his credit, he did say after he was done his performance earlier on in the day, he said straight up, before you even competed, I think Anthony's gonna beat that. If I had to bet, I think Anthony's got this. He
Yeah.
was big enough to be honest. And it wasn't after the fact. Like after the fact's easy. Oh, I knew he could. No, beforehand. He was like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel it's enough. So he knew you were good. It wasn't like I think he knew you were good. He just thought he was like his belief in himself was huge, I
No,
think.
absolutely. And it's almost like it's motivating and almost like inspiring in a way to see just how much he believed in himself, you know? And I'm like, I gotta start believing in myself the way he does, you know?
We all do. Dude, that was wild. Dude, like
Yeah.
planned for anyone listening. So Keenan came on. He's getting married in April. And I'm like, man, that's gonna be difficult because you have PA Nats in April. And he's like, yeah, well, Worlds is in Europe. So I'm telling my girl, maybe, we plan our honeymoon around Worlds. And I'm like, oh shit, like he already won. And then he's like, don't when we're touring around Europe, don't bother booking the UK because we'll probably be at Sheffield. I'm like, holy shit, this is like plotting winning US Nats, winning Worlds, and going to Sheffield. On the flip side, like again, he was looking at it from he was like, I could do 1,000 kilos, just it's confidence in himself, as opposed to lack of confidence in you. He just thinks now when he didn't hit the numbers he wanted to hit, he was flat out saying, now Anthony can do this.
Yeah.
I did not put up enough. But when you were going into this, are you comfortable being the underdog? Was that easier if he put a lot of pressure on himself saying everything he said?
Yeah. Yeah. It that honestly, it was easier. There wasn't a lot of high stakes, there wasn't a lot of pressure for me. So I soaked that up. You know, I went in here and the goal was to have fun and just ball out. I talked to John and really the mission was to just put up the highest total we could, you know. And we were talking about it and he was like, yeah, 980, you got it, like 975 plus minimum. And I'm like sitting here and I'm like, I'm almost like, you serious? You know, because I put up that 940, 45 like 2 months before. And, you know, like 975 I thought was a reach, but to my surprise, like obviously what happened is just I'm still processing it.
From 945 though to what you just did, 979 in breaking, like the world record a weight class up, and certainly breaking the world record. Like this is all unofficial, of course, but
Right.
at the 105s, how did you make such huge leaps and bounds from 945?
Yeah. So what happened was I missed my third squat. Again, I've had issues with depth, and that was the biggest thing. I left a lot of kilos on the table that day Not that my strength wasn't there, but the technicality wasn't there. So we came back to the drawing board and the goal was to sink. And that's what we did. We sunk every single squat going into this prep. And that's why I had a lot more. I've taken 804 countless amount of times. So it was a matter of, punching that in. Um, that's where I got a lot of it from. So the deadlift, though, interestingly, like I haven't been an 800-pound puller ever. 2 months ago, I get to this meet, and the goal was to pull like 771, right? Kind of like just take a third at 771, 782, and we'll call it there. I pulled 750, and I'm not even kidding you. Like I'm not a person to just do something crazy and load something ridiculous. I told my handler, I was like, put 804 on the bar, like put it on the bar. And I went out there and I pulled it. And that's kind of, when I hit that 804, I knew that, with how comfortable it was and how easy it was, that I was going to have so much more. Like I have so much more. So I built that confidence there, got that squat punched in. In the bench, I was able to gain some weight going in. And I worked with Famish coach, and he really helped me dial in nutrition. And I wasn't flat on the day. I felt amazing, and I was able to put up that 540. So I benched like 512 that past meet, and it was pretty sticky. I was pretty flat. I wasn't really pushing my bench in the capacity I should have been. So that was like another thing, It was just like I knew I had the capability to do it. It was more so just like getting myself together to do it.
Hmm. So, and how long have you been working with John Song?
I've been working with him since 2020. So it's been, or 2021. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your progress with him has been insane, though.
I know. I know.
You're look. We knew you were a threat, but it would appear that Keenan Lee would have been the favorite. But
Yes.
had everybody known you had 979 in you, I mean, we 945 is good.
Yeah.
100% is good. You were a live dog if you were a dog.
Right.
979. It's I just recorded the US Nationals recap show with Amelia, who's a commentator with me, and Matt Gary. And I was just talking about how, and we'll get into the day, we'll walk through the day. I'm kind of setting it up. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but I was just saying how all the praise we gave Bob when he went into the 120s, and he was like the famous line, "Don't get clapped by a 105." And he beat all the 120s, the best 120s the world could provide, minus Rondell Hunt.
Yeah.
And you did what you did as a 103. And all the accolades we gave Bob and everything, all the way that we talk about Bob now rightfully gets to fall on your shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. And did you feel like when did you in prep coming into this? You were just saying how John was telling you, look, at these are the numbers we're going to do. And you're like, shit,
Yeah.
sure. Like, did you feel yourself coming into this? I'm Bob Matthews level talent.
Trent, to be honest, no. No. And that speaks accolades to John as a coach and a friend. He has that trust and he knows my true capability. So to have a coach to be able to like really pull that out of you, it's what I needed. Um, it really didn't hit me until after the ceremony was over, and I was just like, oh, like I did it. I didn't just do it. I did amazing. I did what he said I was gonna do. And it was a big, big moment for me.
So let's
Big.
talk about walking into this. Um, Obviously, Keenan threw a lot of pressure on himself.
Yeah.
You had the ability to operate in relatively obscurity compared to the amount of pressure he threw on himself because of everything he said. He was
Right.
so freaking confident. It sold it. Like
Right.
people thought he was the guy to look for.
Yeah.
Just base, dude. If someone talks like that, 1,000 kilos, like he already won, you almost start looking past other people. This could be an advantage to you to operate in darkness and bring it to light on the day of and not have too much pressure.
Right.
Did you feel pressure in this at all going in, or did you feel like no, Keenan just shouldered all that and you're gonna let him?
I didn't feel any pressure. I really didn't. Obviously there was pressure in terms of standard and just knowing that I was going to hit the standards at nationals. Um, but that was the only pressure I really had. I knew if I could put something together and have myself complete that I could do something. Um, but very low pressure, honestly. Uh, Not much at all. I just wanted to win. That's really what it
Mm,
was.
mm. And when he when it was said that he was going to go in prime time, did you ever consider dropping to prime time? Or obviously you ended up dropping from prime time, or rather, obviously you ended up staying prime time. What were your thoughts on that?
So honestly, I the head-to-head battle would have been the more exciting option. Um, I really didn't think too much of the situation though. It was a technical advantage to every degree. And so okay, that's funny. That the pressure was that. That was the pressure there. You
Really?
know, the technical advantage that I had, right? If I don't beat him, this is what happened. Like after I heard the podcast, if I don't beat him, like, you know, I had the advantage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
I
okay,
know.
I'm glad you pulled
That's
that up
true.
because
It does make it harder if you think about it,
yeah, like
right?
there's pressure, people think it's very low pressure and you got the whole blueprints set out, you know what to beat. But being the person that's in that position, you don't know what it's like until you're like, oh, I gotta beat that. Like if I don't beat that, then I had every advantage for me, you
Mm,
know? So
mm.
that was the pressure, and it really kind of hit me like 2 days before the competition where I'm like, oh, like I really have the upper hand here. I got to execute. But as soon as I got into that back room, I just shut it all off. I shut it all off and I just did my thing.
I was talking to Matt Gary. Obviously, he's on the recap show, and he was handling uh, Keenan
Yeah.
on the day. And he actually said, I'll be completely honest with you. I was handling Keenan, and the way the day ended up going, it obviously did not matter. You won by such a wide margin. This wasn't like, he knew exactly when he needed to beat and he beat it. No, you ran long past it.
Right.
And obviously, as it were, Keenan himself said even before you went, like, yeah, wow, this is going to be a moot point at this point. I think he's going to trot right past this, which obviously you did.
Right.
We'll get into worlds and everything after we walk through the day, but I promise you, sir, nobody's looking past you at worlds, though, is the thing. Like, you get that once. That was a freebie, but the pressure's gonna come and there'll be a lot of talk about you now. Like, that's out the window. But I'm
Definitely.
sure you're gonna start feeling that. So you show up, you know the number that Keenan did. And when you watch, like, did you watch him live or did you just wait to hear afterwards, or how did you go about that? Because you
I
still
was
got
in
to
my
lift.
yeah. Yeah. I was in my hotel room and I was just kind of chilling for the day. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go watch. And so I watched his
Really?
third spot and I remember seeing that 793 or 794 just move. And I'm like, you know what? Shut it off. Done.
That was a bad idea. Yeah.
Like, relax. I threw on Rocky 4 and that was it. I just got lost in that movie and the thoughts just like I cleared my head, you know, took a shower, hung out, and yeah, I didn't watch the rest. Um, I did talk to my coach though, and John, and he was like, he threw up this, like this is what we got to do. So I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't watch. I watched the squat, and I was like, okay, done. I can't sit here and just like I just got to do, you
Yeah.
know.
When you actually compete against someone head to head, do you like to watch then, or then do you like to just go blinders and have your handler do those decisions and you execute?
Go blinders. Just go blinders. I'm not watching.
So then it's going to be probably like way worse if you're watching, not competing, and there's nothing you could do about it. You're
Yeah.
just viewing. Like, that's, yeah, for sure that'll get in your head.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
gift and a curse, right?
Yes. Yep. Big time.
And so you must have found out the number that he had hit, and what were you feeling after you found out the number?
Let's do this. I'm like, let's do this. It's set. That's what I got to beat, but I don't want to just beat it. Like I honestly, like this is where the motive, like I felt this first wind of like confidence. I was like, nah, we're not just chipping this. Like we're beating this number. We're going to take it past and no one, I'm going to be undeniable. It's funny because my third squat, it's actually recorded in like a little video edit. My buddy Sam, one of my handlers, was kind of talking and telling me like fire me up, and I just like clarity just hit, and I say undeniable. I go out there and I bury that third attempt, and the rest was just the rest. Um,
Mm.
the theme was undeniable for this meet. Just blow past. Yeah,
When you showed up at the venue, like because I walk around the warm up room when I'm back there, I like to like soak up the energy, and I'm not even lifting. And I swear, like before the 83s, before the 93s, before like everyone knows what you have to do to try to get on there, I'm walking around the warm up room and seeing you guys with your earphones on, music playing, and some of you were talking, joking around. Some of you are dead ass locked in where it's like, oh my God. Like
yeah,
there are people that I'm used to seeing and they're like all smiles. There are people who are like, even like Natalie Richards, had her on the podcast a bunch of times, commentated with her. Like, I know Natalie. Like I
right.
know her, someone you see all the time. You walk back there and they're like a different person. Like
Yeah,
Natalie was like she was about to go in a doctor's office and do surgery and someone's life was on like her face was like same with Taylor. I see like I've known Taylor for years. I went back there and it was different, man. Like it wasn't even a smile when you see someone you haven't seen in a hot minute in person, but you've known them for years and you haven't seen them and you see them again. And I just saw them in New York when I was at Delaney's gym opening like 2 weeks earlier, all hugs and, daps and hugs and the whole night. You see him on that day and you're the first time you see him. So you smile like, my man. And he was like he was John Wick entering a building. Like and the thing is, you feel that tension. Like you feel, and that's just him. There's a room full of these killers, and they're all like that. And I love it. Like I love like very few times in life, right before something's about to happen, and like what's about to happen is going to be historic. It's going to be a battle, and there's nothing quite like anticipation. It hasn't started yet, and it's about to. My man, there's nothing like that feeling. And when
yeah,
I went back there in that warm up room in your session, crazy tense, crazy. Everybody's fighting for a spot.
yes,
Even if Keenan wasn't in that room with you, he was in the audience, which actually set it up like a little bizarre kind of movie style. Also, the guy you're going against was watching you in the audience.
yeah.
Um, how did you feel in the warm up room? The vibe with everybody, the battles that are about to happen. And have you ever felt anything quite like that yet?
Honestly, it was tense back there. It was real like I walked back there and at first like I was just like, all right, like kind of hanging out after weigh-ins, happy to just get my stuff and my food in. But just seeing like everyone else just like tunneled in. It takes me like I lock in. I'm like that, right? But in the first few minutes, like when you're eating and stuff like that, all right, like let's hang out.
Mm.
But the tension from the get-go was just unreal. Unreal. I mean, I finally got myself there like a few minutes before warm-ups. I'm just, dialed in, kind of hanging out, serious. But again, like I walked back there and it was just like tense, tense.
What was it? Um, and you were in the session with the 93s,
Yes,
and you had because John also coaches Gavin.
right.
Was he coaching? Was he handling you both at the same time?
Yes, it was like a pit crew of people that were actually helping. Um, there was John, there was another gentleman named Andrew, and our friend Sam. And then the owner of Gavin's gym was there as well.
Ray, yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, he's great, dude. Ray is awesome. Always a good vibe, just like knows when to turn it on, but is like the nicest person you could meet.
Yeah, he's
Um,
super nice.
yeah. Yeah. So it was like a pit crew of people. It was nice because like you were taken care of at all times, I was warming up with Gavin on squats. and bench and stuff like that. So it was really cool. Like being with Gavin too. Like that was the thing. Like seeing him just like really dialed, it was like, oh, like this is the energy. It kind of like put me into like my state, my flow.
Really? See, you're almost like a bigger version of Gavin in a lot of ways. That's- like you guys could be related. But does it help having a guy like how do you train with Gavin at all? I know you're somewhat close, right? In the New York
Yeah.
region. Do you guys ever train together? Why not? Because he's talked about you to me, and I know you guys know each other like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've trained a few times together. Hopefully we train more. But yeah, we're pretty close. I met him back in college, through
Hmm.
powerlifting actually. So that's how I, came to know Gavin. And I've seen him like go from just powerlifter to this Gavin Aiden, like blood in the water, ships are
Oh, you
burning.
you knew him before all that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I met him
Like
before.
when? What year are we talking that you met him?
I met him, I think in 2019.
Oh shit! Then that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
before
So
that.
yeah. Like, and he was
You
still
seen him
talking.
develop?
Yeah. But the thing is, he's always been like that. He's always had that drive and that passion. So it's really cool to see it really, the way he's brought it to surface. It's been him. It's been inside of him. He like has always told me these things. Even like when I first met him, just like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be the best. Like really, really inspiring stuff. But it's awesome to see him like take off and just do those things that he was talking about.
That's right. It is pretty wild when you meet someone beforehand. You know them on a personal level. You talk to them, and then to see them develop into something, and it's got to be crazy. Well,
Yeah.
imagine how he feels about you, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine like I shit you not. Back in Turkey when you had Junior Worlds, I brought Gavin to commentate with me Junior Worlds, and he was telling me about you like way back then, and he was
Yeah.
like bumping you up and like imagine how he feels about you with what you just did.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping that I know he's proud. I know he is. And that's the coolest part. Being able to do that with him there, like in the back room, is just like a full circle story moment, you know? Really, really cool.
Yeah. Was it less tension having like one of your boys there with you about to go through it as well?
100%. Like I thinking to myself, like Gavin's done this so many times. Like it's really cool to have Gavin there just because it's like on a personal level. We're friends. So having him back there made it really, really fun, and it was
Mm.
like less stressful. Funny enough, he had some like recomp drinks in the back, and I was like starting to cramp a little bit. And he's like, dude, just go over my suitcase, start taking them down. He's like, don't cramp up. He's like, just go grab. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, you know what? I want to ask you because you weighed in at 103.
Yeah.
Were you, who does your nutrition, by the way?
Stephen Pham, so Famish coach.
Okay,
Uh,
that's right. That's right. You were saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And did you purposely weigh in light? Did you cut water? Is that actually your body weight, or did you? How did that go?
So all it was a little gut cut because what I was sitting a little close to weight. I was actually like overweight some mornings. So all we did was is we ate nice until the day before. I ate the same. I ate a lot. I actually pigged out the day before, and all I did was I slept in late, got up, did my thing, took another nap. It was almost like a little gut cut. Nothing crazy. I actually snacked on candy, was drinking water. Like I wasn't deprived, so I didn't really have to cut. It was really, really easy.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you obviously were strong. So whatever you did, it worked. In
yeah,
103, you if you do it again at Worlds, you'll probably have body weight advantage, I gotta imagine.
yeah.
Most of the people you're gonna be going against.
Right. That's the plan. The same exact thing we did this time is going to be the blueprints for this next go around, most likely.
So you're back there. You got your team. First off, did John meet Gavin like through you? Because obviously Gavin ended up with John as well.
Right. So it was kind of a um I don't know how they got in touch, but yeah, Gavin actually, I believe Gavin talked. Yeah, we talked about my coaching and my time with John. Gavin asked me about it because he was inquiring already with John. And so obviously me telling Gavin just like the truth and that John is amazing, and not sugarcoating anything because John really is that great. Uh, it seemed to just everything intersected. And it was really cool to see Gavin come on as like a teammate. That was
Hmm.
a really, really cool moment for me.
John is freaking blowing up right now, man.
I'm
Like
so
he's done he's done phenomenal.
yeah,
Obviously, like what you're like a crown jewel right now. He came. We'll talk about the rest of PA Nats afterwards, but he came this close with Gavin. Like
yeah,
if Gavin nailed that last dead, which he could,
yes,
Gavin's got 355 in him. He's
yes,
done 350 and his dead has moved up. Like, and he was this close. If he
yeah.
nailed that, oh my God. And then
I know.
with Angelo, he did tons of progress with him. Just wasn't there on the day, but he progressed with him. Like, there's no
Big,
question he did. Like,
yes.
John is doing big things with these lifters. The right day, both those two are going to hit hard. He got one with you on that day. I mean, you did an absolutely phenomenal job. But so, anyways, yeah, John's doing phenomenal. So let's talk about it. Squats come out. Is this the plan that you had? I'm going to pull up the meet results actually right
Yeah.
now. But was this all to plan the exact numbers? Because obviously you knew the numbers ahead of time that you had to hit. But opening with 330 and ending with 365, was that really what you were looking for, even before the day of, before Keenan ever competed?
So honestly, it changed once we found out Keenan was competing. The goal was to really punch in winning numbers on the seconds, um, so that the pressure was off, and that was that. Thirds were extra pickings, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to hit my thirds, a lot of them at least. I thought we were going to be overreaching, which is funny now saying,
Really?
talking. Yeah, yeah. Um, so the
Like you
plan
were
was,
looking at the numbers like, oh shit, John. You were thinking it's gonna be a bloodbath. You're like, okay, slow
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you something then. Like, how heavy of singles do you do in prep? Because that's interesting.
So I'd say I go fairly heavy. My heaviest deadlift of prep, I actually failed 800 um 2 blocks out. So like my heaviest week, the block before my peaking block, I failed 800 pounds miserably. Like didn't even come off the floor. And I was just like,
Oh my
I kind
God.
of like laughed after. It was pretty bad. Um, but my heaviest pull before this meet was 350, so 771. And it didn't move a whole lot better than my 13 or 814 on the day. So it's really interesting to see that gap. Like he told me, John was like, all I need you to do is take 350. No, that's it. Just take 350. However it moves, that's all we need. Okay, no problem. Load it up. And that was that. I mean, but squats are something that I train fairly heavy. So I did take an 804-pound squat this prep.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you did 365.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I took that. It didn't move nearly as good as it did on the day, which is nice to see the taper come through. But for deadlifts, there seems to be like a bigger gap. Like I don't need to take 800 to pull 800 or go beyond. It's just really cool to see how my deadlift has been progressing in that sense. And then bench, I took a 529 single in prep, and again, like it wasn't as comfy as that 540. I'll tell you that right now.
So after the squats, you do your three squats,
Yeah,
and 365 feels comfortable.
yeah,
Keenan had done 360, and you know what Keenan's done by now. How are you thinking? You just did 365. Squats have concluded. You're going back,
right.
and you're 5 kilos ahead of Keenan. Are you telling yourself, I think I'm in the driver's seat, the pace to beat Keenan's total? Or are you no, okay. Tell me
No,
what are you thinking?
no. I said I literally got back there. I was hyped up for like 2 seconds, more like a minute, right? I'm like, oh, that's great. And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I don't care. I don't care. Like that's whatever now, because now there's two more lifts left. And that was it. I erased the board completely and I was like, bench, what are we gonna do to get the most out of bench? What do we have to do to stay in the meet? And that's kind of how I took that approach for every single lift, even with deadlifts, even with my third attempt or second attempt on pulls. I just even though it was the winning token, I was like, whatever. Like I need that third attempt. So I just had like a very quick short-term memory on the day, and that seemed to be really, really good to keep me in the game, and above the game.
Were you paying attention to like the 93s, like Gavin in particular? Obviously, you and Gavin shared a platform. Were you watching a little bit on their battle?
When I was
Yeah.
sitting near the TV in the back room, I was watching, and like there was one point where I was just like, I can't, I can't, because like I'm now feeling like the spectator stress of this. I'm like, like I
The
started freaking out.
spectator stress, did you say it's true?
Yeah,
Right?
Like I started sweating, I mean, I was already sweating, but granted, this was like nervous sweat starting to break. So I'm like, okay, just like look at the floor, focus on you. Just I had to stop. It was that crazy to where it's very hard to like drag me out of a locked in state, so to say, locked in, whatever. But that battle was enough to just completely derail me from my own goal, like for a couple of
Yeah.
seconds. Crazy.
What was it like when Gavin came back and he was 3 for 3 in squats? Because usually that means Gavin goes 3 for 3, all bets are off. This thing could be like epic.
Right.
What was it like when he returned back to, because you guys are sharing the platform, you guys are like in the same corner, so to speak. You
Yeah.
literally got the same coach, same platform, same everything. You guys are battling together on this.
Right.
What was it like when he came back?
I knew like he was just very like in that moment locked in. And I honestly was like, I'm not going to really talk to him about it because I don't want to talk to him about anything. I'm like, I'm going to leave him be, let him do his thing. And it was all respect. Like at the end of the day, I wanted to go over there and be like, give him a hug and like, but to each their own, like I could see that he was just so dialed in and I let him rock with that. I didn't want to like,
Yeah.
you know, not blow smoke under him, but like, you know what I'm saying? Let him do his thing because the way I think and the way I approach it is like if someone came up to me and was like, "Yo, that squat was great," me with my short-term memory, I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, just forget about that. So I didn't know where he
Really?
was at. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, cool, great, great squat, but like with my short-term memory in that state, I want to let him be and let him rock.
It's, I mean, that's interesting. First off, it's good to have the short-term memory in powerlifting because legitimately you have more lifts to go. And you could get ahead of yourself. It's
Right.
not yet over. You have work to do. And also B, if you miss a lift, it also helps. It doesn't matter. We're on to
Yes.
the next one. Doesn't matter. You got it. You can't overly dwell. On the flip side, I don't know. It's tough. Like there was a lot of feelings back there. I'm gonna tell you right now. I went back there on the conclusion of the 93s, and dude, you weren't talking about intense before. Let's talk about intense afterwards. There was chest to chest moments. There was like I missed some of it, but there
Yeah.
was dramatics back there. I'm not going to get into names, but holy smokes, my dude! Like this was all types of intense,
Yeah.
and um, and I know Gavin is a fired up. He gets fired up, man. Like we hear you heard stories about Sheffield. He's been on the podcast talking about what happened. He's been chest to chest with people himself. Like this is he's an intense guy. There,
Yes.
it is intense back there. It is like reality cranked up like several times over when you're back there. You never know what the hell. So I know what you mean where I know you could know somebody and still want to give them their space. And you don't want to fuck up whatever they're doing in their head.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, let him
Yeah.
keep doing it. If it's working, let him. If he makes eye contact, you could sort of kind of tell if he's ready to engage. But if he's purposely not, I'm not going out of my way. Let him stay locked in. I know what you
Right.
mean.
Yes.
Did you or do you feel that as well?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
that type of guy who prefers that as well?
Yeah. People that have handled me in the past, whether it's friends, now John, this is the first time he's handled me, which is really cool. But people that have like a record with me at meets, they know like when I'm like this, don't don't do any sort of like unless I ask for it. Like my friend Sam, I told him I wanted him to give me that like that talk, before each attempt. Um, but other than that, like they know to just kind of let me do my thing and rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate like the worst is when somebody like wants to give you a motivational speech when you're like, my dude, just please stop, man. Just, just my man. I don't know if this is a movie to you and you're Al Pacino and this is any given Sunday. But like, I don't know if you're trying to interject into my story, but please, dog, just let me
Right.
do my thing. You
Rock.
know,
Let me rock.
let me rock, man. With all due respect. All right. So the vibe in the room is good in terms of the 93s. All three of the big three hit. You hit all three lifts, obviously. So back there, it's probably everyone's firing on all cylinders. Everybody's happy. Everybody's fired up. You're going into bench press. How is bench moving on the day? Walk me through your bench press session.
Wow. I mean, I got there. I got to bench and it felt like everything just felt so dialed. I took 375 And I quite literally thought that it was two reds. It felt so locked in. I
God
mean,
damn it.
oh gosh, it felt amazing. I was so happy because I could tell like on that 375 where my trajectory, like my where I'm gonna be for that day. And when it felt like a feather, I was like, oh, we're in it. We're so in it. I'm not gonna talk. I just know that we're in it, you know?
Hmm. Are you, and again, are you watching, you're still watching the 93s a little bit or no?
Actually, during bench, not as much. I was watching a little bit during squats and deadlifts, but bench, I kind of just was like in my own little world there.
They went 3 for 3 again. And everybody, and you go 3 for 3, and everybody is rocking and rolling now. Now the fun is really getting underway.
Yes.
So for yourself, now that you've gone 6 for 6, how are you feeling about your pacing? How are you feeling about, because there's so much on the line for you. Everything I just said about you, like, I'm not joking, your life is going to change now.
Yeah.
The life experiences you're going to have going to world championships, whatever might happen in Germany, 1%, less than 1% of the population will ever represent their country at a world championships, let alone what might happen there. The life experience you're going to have. And I don't know if you have an opportunity to tour around Europe a little bit while you're out there. I would, if you got a few vacation days, those countries are so clustered close together. You should just take in life, especially if it's a celebratory tour, my dude. You're never going to forget it.
Yes.
Let alone what could happen for you if you win worlds and all that could go into Sheffield and everything. Like, it's no, and after all that's said and done, if you fulfill what you can, nobody could ever take this away from you
Yeah.
till the day you die.
Yeah.
You know that's on your resume. So you have all of this. This is what you're fighting for. It's to get there. You have to complete this mission. You're 6 lifts deep, and that's what's on the table for you. That's what you're going for. How are you feeling after 6 lifts?
That's when the confidence really came in. And it wasn't confidence saying like, oh, like this is done, like this is wraps. No, it wasn't that. But it was, wow, we're two-thirds of the way done, right? The plan is to go and lock in that winning deadlift on that second attempt. And the fact that I got the two lifts that were giving me the trouble last meet and in prior, to get them and steamroll them past and know that deadlifts have been really good lately. I was so amped up. The picture, it became so clear to me. Like the goal was foggy. It was very foggy during prep and it was foggy even during squats and bench. But after that bench, like it was open for grabs. It was open for
Mm.
grabs. All I had to do was just sell myself for six or what is it? 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. That's it. Go out there, get it done, and that's it. I open up a whole new world for myself. And I was telling myself that I'm like, do you really want this? Like, are you really ready to possibly open this stuff like this open, like to open the door for yourself? See, I'm getting all excited, like I can't even talk. Um, like, see, I'm like in the moment again. But that's what it was. I was soaking it all in too. I started soaking it all in. I'm like, this is the final piece of the mission that I've been embarking on for the first part of the mission, right?
Mhm.
But this is to open up the doors for the future ahead. Like we're gonna do this. We're too far in. We cannot sell short right now. Like under no circumstance could I sell short.
Heartbreaking, man. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Oh my gosh.
Oh, I thought
If
about
things
that.
fell apart with you and deadlifts,
I
and
went
then
to
they
the
got,
bathroom. I went to the
yeah.
bathroom and I like looked at myself in the mirror for a second. I literally just whispered to myself. I don't even know if people like saw me whisper. It was kind of be funny, but I was like, it would be crazy if you really let this go. And I said that to myself, and it was almost like I giggled because it
You
was
really said that out loud?
like I like whispered it. Yeah, I was like, it'd be really crazy if you let this just go. Like, like, I was in the moment,
Dude,
man.
you had a full on Eminem 8 Mile moment where you were about to go out for that final rap battle. Like, God, let's do this. Pull yourself
I watched
together.
too many motivational clips. That's what it is.
That's
Too
right.
many.
That's right. That's Gavin Aiden rubbing off on you right now.
Yeah, right.
But so when you get out there, like obviously, what would give you any kind of doubt was that 800 you said that got stapled in the last 2 weeks of prep. That's got to be a little bit of rattle. Like that would be where you know everything that's on the line. You're going into deadlifts, even if everything's going great. You're like, God, you never know until you get out there. You never know until you start shifting weights on the platform. When you hit the first attempt, did you know it was on?
Oh yeah. I was like, here we go. I'm like, let's just do this second. I'm like, let's just disrespect this second so bad so I could take like John will let me go over 800. Like I just wanted to get that second out of the way. But that first attempt gave me all the confidence. I could have went from that first to that 813. That's just how good I was feeling.
Mm. Well, you jumped 25 kilos after your opener, and it was the second attempt that locked in U.S. national title and going to IPF Worlds.
Yeah.
So now it's done. Do you realize it's done? Do you realize what you just accomplished? Are you aware?
Yes. But again, that part of me was like, no, we're going 9 for 9. We're gonna extend that gap this much further. Like we're doing it. We're all in right now. Like I'm not going out there and I'm not missing it. I've been having a crazy day. Get your ass out there and pull it. Like I don't care what you got to do, pull it. And I was told it was being loaded at the 369. I don't know why. Like at the time, I was like, why that? Like why not just 370? Why? I'm like, whatever, sure. Like put it on the bar. Okay. Um, and I just go out there and I do the thing, and it was the most exhilarating. Like I picked it up and I held it, and like I knew what I just have done. You know, I'm like I put the bar down. I'm just like, wow, okay. I just went 9 for 9. And I'm like, what now? Like, it's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what now, but we'll park that for a second. We'll get into that for a second. Um, so here's something that I've noticed. Sometimes in like I've been commentating damn near 10 years at like IPF Worlds and various different events. And when somebody locks in the win on their eighth and it's done, very difficult for them to come out on the ninth and get something because there's an adrenaline dump. There is that, like you even see it in boxing or MMA. If they're like I've seen it where the fighter thinks the ref is calling the fight and they think the fight's over, then the ref, but they're not calling it. They were just checking on a cut or something, and they let them continue. In that moment of it's over, when it actually goes in and sinks in, and you actually think that, your body has like a natural relief, and the adrenaline drops, and relief comes over you. Mission accomplished, or in the fight game, whatever. It's like anxiety, but it's relieved. And then when you get told no, it's still on, usually the fight really is over like 10 seconds later. And
Right.
sometimes in powerlifting, once the relief hits and you realize mission accomplished, you can relax a little. Everything that you were fighting for to change your life, you accomplished. Like it's over. You did it.
Right.
Very difficult to stay dialed in, locked in, especially when the magnitude of what you're trying to achieve is so big. And to realize, Anthony, you done it, man. You don't gotta like it's for you to stay locked in is like hats off to you, remarkable. Because it'd be so difficult to not just realize, like, okay, it's like I am shocked that you could keep it all together like that, especially when it's your first go around to worlds.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
why do you think that is?
I something just like snapped, like I said, like I don't know what it was, but I guess it was because I pulled it just so easy. Like it was just nothing. I was like, I can't win on just this. I can't just be done. I'm
Mm.
like, absolutely not. I'm like, get back there, focus up, and go out there and pull. Like I literally was just like, I was cutthroat there. I was like, I'm not just ending it here. I'm extending this gap. You're not done. You have another attempt left. You're not done. You're not even close to done. Job's not done. I didn't think for 1 second to myself, like I knew what I just did, and I had that in my head, but I wasn't done. I had another attempt. I'm not just selling out. I'm not just done after that second. I'm going out there and I'm pulling it. And that's really what I told myself. I got so fired up for that third pull, not even that second pull. That second pull, yeah, I was fired up. I knew what was at stake. But I was so fired up for that third attempt because it was an opportunity for me to close that door on, oh, okay, he just chipped his total, like he just beat it. That was
Mm.
the opportunity to make that gap and become that undeniable, you know, champion that I wanted to be. Like starting from squats, I want it to be undeniable. I don't want any questioning as to why I got the spot. Oh, 2.5 kilos, you just bumped it. If you went head to head, it wouldn't have been that case. Keenan would have just bumped up. I didn't want that.
Hmm.
Undeniable was the theme. And so that just
Hmm.
clicked, instantly just sent shockwaves through. And I was like on cloud nine after that third pull.
I mean, hats off to you to be able to do that, dude. That's crazy. To be
Yeah.
able to like stay that locked in, like, no, 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 no. We're making a statement here today.
Yeah.
We're we're making nobody's gonna talk. Like I said, Matt Gary was on the other team, and he was like, what can you say? I mean, when you win by a gap like that, it really there was no technical advantage needed. He did what he did. Keenan was like, I mean, it is what it is. You did what you wanted to accomplish. So thank God you did stay locked in. In 979, when when did you find out that you essentially did or outdid what Bob achieved at last Worlds? And remember, when Bob did this as a 105 at last Worlds, and it was the famous don't get clapped by a 105, which everyone loves.
Yeah.
Everyone uses it now, like don't get clapped by a junior, don't get clapped by a 69 when Agatha comes for you. Like everyone uses that term now.
Right.
When you realized what John had, because it was on the surface, it looked like kind of a random number to put in. But
Yeah.
John obviously had a plan here.
Oh, he
John
did.
obviously saw, no, I know how to make this more relevant for you. I know how to make everybody take notice.
Yeah.
Everybody gives so much clout to what Bob achieved, and they should. Now you get to take that.
Yeah.
Now that's yours if you pull this off. So John, expert, a third attempt, it could have been like whatever. Who fucking knows? Throw whatever on third. You already did what you did. No, make it mean something.
Yeah.
And when did you realize what you had achieved in terms of the significance of that third pull in the number?
I was in the back room and actually Pete Spence, this first time I met him, he came up to me and told me what I'd just done. And I was like, I literally go to him, I'm like, wait, really? He goes, yeah. I'm like, what? What? And then like it really hit because the adrenaline like kind of wore off and I wasn't in that like cutthroat state of mind. I was just me again. And when he told me that, I'm like, wow, by a pound, by a half a kilo.
Mm.
Awesome. Incredible. I felt so good. I'm like, this is amazing. Amazing.
And so now it's all sinking in, and you're gonna go to Worlds, and you've clinched the U.S. national title. And have you started looking towards Worlds? Are you looking at the nominations? Is this starting to become a reality for you at this point?
Definitely. I'm very, very excited. And I know what I have to do. Like this nationals and feeling good off of it. Like I know that it has to come to an end because I have another mission. Like I'm excited to get this really just steamrolling, like this prep just going again. Look at the nominations. It's really cool because uh I'll see Coco again. I saw him in Junior Worlds that year. And with my first two missed squats, it was a pretty tough day. So I'll be excited to see him again on the platform. And obviously, Anatoly and all these guys, like just monster 105s that I'll be able to share their platform with. I'm very excited and motivated, you know?
I also see Keenan Lee as a reserve.
Yeah, Keenan Lee's a reserve. Yeah,
Can you imagine a world where you and Keenan actually do end up going head to head at Worlds?
that would be awesome. I want
Bonkers.
that. I want that. I want like the deepest talent pool. I want all of it. I want that whole experience.
Mm.
There's no, like I wouldn't have that sense of pride if it wasn't such a crazy battle. I want that battle. I want it to be crazy, you know? Maybe I just like daydream too much about the opportunity that I have now, but I want it all. I want the smoke.
And how are you looking to approach Worlds? Like, here's the thing: when it comes to Sheffield being there, you have people who are looking at it like win Worlds, but don't win by too much because you got Sheffield.
Right.
And we seen, Matt Gary had Perk, and he sent Perk out for another lift. Some people are like, oh, I don't know if you should have took that third dead. And Matt Gary's like, listen to me. We got Shell, has the deadlift world record in his back pocket. I'm not getting caught. I get it. But my job as head coach Team USA is for Team USA at Worlds, and I'm making sure we're going to win just in case something crazy happens. Same thing, like look what happens. Russ got caught by Jurgens. Now I'm not saying they were playing it light, but you can get caught if you're subpar. When
Yes.
you walk in here to Worlds, what is your game plan? Are you just letting the hammer drop? Or are you, I mean, maybe you haven't even thought about game planning just yet. What's your initial, because anything could change, but what's your initial thoughts on this?
Initial thoughts is just whatever I need to do to win. Whatever it is, no matter how it's done, I just need to get that win. I want that gold. Obviously that's just the obvious, but to make things a little interesting, I mean, 1,000 kilos. That's not the primary goal. But again, we can't not talk about the elephant in the room here. I mean, 1,000 kilos plus the 10 times body weight. It seems to be something that could,
Wait, holy shit.
I don't know. We'll have to find out. But that's another thing, like I'm looking to those things. Maybe that 10 times body weight is what has to happen in order to win. If I'm pushed there, so be it. Let's just be ready to do that.
Mm. Uh, it would be the best possible scenario for you would be if you could out total the others by your second deadlift, and then you can decide if you come out for your third. If you got to, you come out. If
Right.
you don't, because your biggest opposition, if Keenan isn't in the lineup, is probably going to be Anatoly.
Yes.
You will have more than likely, because Coco's 920 something, Anatoly's done 940, and Anatoly's deadlift went up, his bench went up when he's going against Ashton, and he was actually pacing for something in the 950s, but his
Yes.
deadlift did not show up on him. He wasn't 100%, and but with his squat, we were like, oh my god, maybe he is 100% after all. Turns out, I mean, the deadlift didn't show up. If the deadlift showed up, he would have been in the 950s, and you can't sleep on that.
No.
If you pace yourself, you might be able to do something. You might be able to out total him because you get to pull last in your second pull. And then the best case scenario would be you decide if you come out for your third. You can, you might not have to. If it's all wrapped up by second, perfect. You guys wait for my third come Sheffield. But at least you have that in your back pocket. Because
Yes.
as you're looking at this, unless Keenan shows up, who's got a monster deadlift, you should be pulling last. And I believe in this is this your estimation as well? Anatoly's probably going to be your biggest opposition.
Yes. Yes. But I'm not counting out anybody. I'm honestly treating it as anybody could be at their best on the day, obviously. Yes, statistically, he is the biggest opposition, but I need to be ready for anything and anyone.
Hmm.
So I'm not counting anybody out. Um, Nobody. No one's counted out. Everyone's looked at as on that equal pedestal. If I don't have a good day, it happens. Everyone can take on that day. And that's
Mhm.
just the mentality going behind it. Undeniable. Do what I got to do. I need to fight. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be fun.
Have you thought ahead of time? And I'm not trying to prop you up and do like Keenan, but have you thought about Sheffield? Have you thought like, look, it's okay to dream. This isn't even like a Keenan thing where you're like, look at I bought my tickets, like, or whatever.
Yeah.
I told my family, get your vacation days lined up. But everybody has like lays their head on a pillow at night and dreams. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, definitely. A lot. Even before this whole nationals thing, a lot. I saw a video on Instagram and it was like somebody in the crowd and they recorded just the dynamic. Like Russ was on the platform and he just like takes the camera and goes around the entire venue. I'm like getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. Like that's where I want to be. Like that big stage. Um, I dream about it. I envision it sometimes. Like before I take like a heavy lift, I'll kind of like think about where I want to be like at the end of this. Like not the end, but a goal of mine. And that seems to be the recurrent goal. Worlds is definitely the first goal. It always has been the first goal, but now with Sheffield, it's like I'll do anything to get there. That's just it's a huge dream to be able to go on that platform and just do my thing in the sport that I love, like corny but true. It's just crazy. It gives me goosebumps to think about.
If if you don't need it at Worlds, does 1,000 kilos fall at Sheffield?
Yes. Yes.
That would be a hell of a milestone to be the
Yes.
first. the first 105 to bring it across. It'd be big, man. Bob hasn't done it yet officially, not even as a 120.
Right.
You'd be the first 105 to cross the 1,000 kilo barrier, and you would do it on the biggest platform in the sport.
Yeah.
Your name would be written in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big one. And how old are you, Anthony?
I'm 25. I just turned 25 about a month and a half ago.
Dude, you got so much more. So when you talk 10 times body weight, 100% that could be on the table for you. Are you planning on staying 105 for the foreseeable future?
Yes. Yep. Most
Okay.
definitely.
So then for sure, you could be the first across 1,000 kilos. You could push, and after that, you start resetting a new target for 10 times body weight. I mean, it's first, like I remember when the 74s were doing that. Now the 93s are on the cusp and they're 10 kilos away. But if you hit 1,000 kilos, which is the big milestone, that's the talk. It's going to
Yeah.
quickly turn into who can hit the 10 times body weight. Um, who would you like? Because Ash is away. If Ash comes back, like who are some of the showdowns that you would like to see? Would you like Bob to come back down, or do you think Bob's going to be chasing Rondell? Like, what do you think of all that? Who do you think of? Oh man, wouldn't this be a cool showdown to have?
I would love Bob, me, Ashton, um, Keenan. I would love all that. One, just because these are the guys that in my early powerlifting career, like I've watched them since. So first off, in itself, it would be an honor. I mean, I have the most respect for these guys. They're the big dogs, right? And I'm just kind of getting myself in there now, working on that. It would be an honor in the first capacity, but to push myself against the best, the guys that I've looked up to this entirety of my powerlifting career, it would just be unreal. I mean, I want that battle.
Mhm.
I want it. And it's cool to say that I could be in that battle. So I would love for Bob to come back. But again, like I know that he wants to do that 120, you know, that journey that he has set for himself. He's locked in. Bob is locked in, and I respect it so much. Bob's a beast, you know. But I would love that showdown between us four. That would be awesome.
You never know. Like Bob's a young guy. I know he's gaining weight and he's chasing down Rondell. Everyone likes a good David versus Goliath matchup. That's what
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah.
David versus Goliath matchup. But Rondell is such a monster. It's like, oh my gosh, of all the smoke you want, that's a whole lot of smoke, man.
Yeah.
It is a lot of smoke. But Bob's a freak athlete himself. He is getting bigger. And he's done 10-20 in the gym, I believe. His body weight's getting closer to like the 110 range. So he's getting bigger. So who
Yeah.
knows? I was also gonna ask. So at one point you were at Junior Worlds, and then you were in USCPL as a 110, then you came back. Tell me about that journey. How was it that you were on the IPF side, went USAPL, gained some body weight, came back, like the decisions to jump back and forth, etc.
Yeah. It's a great question. So after Junior Worlds, my body weight climbing up, climbing up. Um, there was a period of time where I worked with another nutritionist who went to the same school as me, and he brought me back down to like 230. Um, and I did another Powerlifting America meet, and this was about 2022, January 2022. Competed there, um, qualified for nationals, the whole nine, and I did nationals, and then I qualified for worlds. Okay, I'm just like zoom passing all that because it's like the layup for this next segment. Um, so qualify for worlds in Romania, and it comes to like the crunch time of prep, like the last few going into junior worlds part two. And I'm dealing with like a lot of like stuff at the time. And so I was just very like up in the air, whatnot. And people have talked about this story, I believe, but I get to the airport to go down.
Yeah, yeah, dude, what happened? Yeah, okay, sorry. I got excited for a second there.
No, yeah,
I just
no.
clued into what we're going into.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
sorry, go
like
ahead.
the fast track to like the main storyline here. So I
Okay.
get there and I'm all just like, from being all rattled up with what's going on in life and whatnot, I'm just like, oh God, like, I don't know if I want to go. I literally was just like, I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I like right now in the current time, I'd rather stay home and get my stuff together because what was going on was just like all crazy. So that's what I did. I didn't go on the plane. I didn't compete. I didn't. I had to do
Now I remember this. I remember
yeah,
hearing
yeah.
this. I remember literally, you were at the airport. So,
Yeah,
so this was in decided not to. So this was like, but you had, and you don't got to necessarily get into if it's like big time personal life stuff, but
right.
you had, it was non powerlifting related, whatever the hell's going on in your personal life. And you're
Yes.
like, this is not the time. I need to deal with this.
Yes.
And so you didn't hop on the plane.
Right. So that's what I did. And honestly, I don't regret it to this day at all because I did just that. I went home and I was able to really just at that time take care of what I had to do. Um, and that was that. So after that point, I had a great training prep, right? Like now people are like, you're not going. Like I dealt with all that. Like, yeah, gotta take my whatever. So I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? So I was weighing over 105. Like I would have to water cut down. And I was like, what do I do? So then I'm thinking, and a few people suggested to just do like a meet. Why not find a meet? And at the time, I couldn't find like any Powerlifting America meets around me. And I'm like, okay, like I gotta find a meet within like the next like week. So that's what I did. I found like a little local USAPL meet that was pretty close to where I was living, only about like 2 hours away. So I didn't water cut, I didn't do anything. Um, I just went in and did the meet, and I squatted like 755, I benched 507, and then I deadlifted 760, whatever. So around like what I was going to do at Junior Worlds that year. Um, and after that, I was like, okay, so I need time to grow. Like, I'm not going to be a junior for much longer. And the gap between me and these open guys, way too big. I got to close it down. So let me give myself some time to just train and get stronger. And that's what I did. So I packed on the weight. Like I was probably sitting, I'm not even kidding you, at like 112, 113 at one point.
Mm,
Disgusting. I felt nasty. Uh,
disgusting. 10 kilos more than you are now.
yeah, yeah,
That's
like
that's a lot.
disgusting. Um, and I was like, okay, we're at this body weight. What do we got? All right, so Arnold. I see the Arnold. I set my eyes on the Arnold, and that's where I totaled my first 2100. So I had a water cut for that meet, and whatever, it wasn't that bad. But I told 2100, and I was like, oh, like okay, this put me back on the map a little bit, even though it was USAPL. Like it put me back on the map a little bit. So from there, it was a lot of where am I going to go from now? I have a total, like regardless, I have to slim down, and I don't know how it's going to impact my strength.
Mhm.
What do I do? So I start working with Fem at this point, Femish coach, and he gets me peeled, sliced and diced. I was sitting at my lowest, like from this cut over a course of like, 5 months. I was sitting at like 216, 217, so just shy of 100 kilos. And I
Oh my
felt impeccable.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah. Like we really, really dialed it in. And the craziest part is like on the program aspect, John took such great consideration for this loss in weight, this tremendous loss in weight. And in the grand scheme, I didn't really lose much strength. My best squat at that 100 kilo mark was that 766, 771 range. Um, bench was about 500, and deadlifts were about 760, 770 range. I didn't really like push the deadlifts too hard. So I was still really strong. And that's when like the whole, okay, IPF talk. Let's go back into this IPF talk. Like, what are we gonna do here? And John was like giving me like the good push to get myself back in there because a lot of what it was for me was like, I don't know if I got what it takes to be with those big dogs. But John kept pushing me there, like in very, very good doses. Um, and once I started gaining the weight back and just training and seeing how well my training was going, like I was taking 800 pounds, now just regularly at the end of the block or repping 750 plus, and deadlifts were going up too. I was like, okay, it's time. I think it's time. But I didn't know if it was time. And John goes, okay, this is the plan. You're going to do this little qualifier meet that I did, like 2 months ago. This is like a whole two year, almost like a 2 year gap. So I'm sorry if I'm going fast, but I'm trying to give you the rundown.
Oh no, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Um, I do the local meet, and that the rest is history. I mean, it was a crazy ride, but I did what I had to do, and I'm glad that I did it because I proved to myself that I was capable of that 2,100 pound mark, right? And I knew working with Fam, just having the trust in him to take care of my nutrition, whether it was on the cut or the bulk. I mean, he was spot on with everything. Both him and John told me like what's gonna happen. And in the moment, you're like, I don't know about all that. Like that's kind of
Mm,
crazy. But what happens? Like that exact thing that they promised and they delivered to me and told me, it happened.
mm.
So it has been a very, very like amazing, crazy, scrambling around period of time to try to find myself back in this IPF side. Um, but I wouldn't change it ever.
Well, a couple things. Okay.
Yes.
Number one, when you're in the airport, I need you to check in with me. You're on the fucking airplane to IPF Worlds. Go back and down.
No, no,
I'm
no,
gonna be
no.
like, we all
No.
good?
No.
We all
Yes.
good? Everything's
Yes.
buttoned up back home, right? Everything's all buttoned up because you got to show up. That's a fact. You do once is a freebie. You do that twice. I don't know. Go to USAPL. Be like I could never come back.
No.
That's
Yeah.
this is worse
That's
than
it.
Chance
Bye-bye.
Mitchell. This yes, that's
Yeah.
it. We're all good.
Yep.
And have you ever thought about because you felt so strong when you cut? Like obviously you have big goals for 105. But
Right.
would it even be possibility to pull a shell and do a 93 at some point? Or are you thinking like I don't know. I don't know.
I
This
don't
might be
know.
crazy talk.
That not really because there's been thoughts about it, honestly, when I was at that low body weight. Like, why not? Like little bit more of a push. Um, but I knew that like at that 105 mark, that's where I just feel the best. And right now I feel that I'm progressing really well at that spot. It was
Mm.
I'm not counting out completely, like ever. You never know. There's thinking. I mean, Gavin's even said himself, like, come down to 93 when I was in the cut. And I'm like, yo, Gavin, you gotta chill. Like you're there. You and Keiko. Um, but I'm not counting out completely. I mean, maybe down the road. I did the cut, a worse cut than I'd have to do now. Uh, and I retained a lot of strength while running and doing cardio, might I add. Um, So why not maybe think about it in the future? But right now, like I'm on that 105, like
Right.
just
I mean, it's one of those, it's nice to have options. It's always nice to have everything in front of you. Like you, for 100% as a 105, you got work to do. You could be obviously world Sheffield. You could be the first to do 1,000 kilos. You could push for 10 times body weight, the whole nine. But even if you dropped and you lost some strength, my man, if you're at 1,000 kilos, you don't need 1,000 kilos for 93. Like you
right.
know this, right? Like
Right.
it's all good if you lose. You have strength to spare, and you would be seeing you in real life. I was talking about this in recap show. You are insanely thick and jacked. You as a 93 would be ridiculous. I
Yeah.
don't know. You would be like on the bodybuilding stage, for God's sake. Like that's also a thing where it'd be crazy to see you as a 93. You would be a physical freak
Yeah.
by the time you hit the platform. But put a pin in it. Do everything you got to do at 105 first, obviously. But
Yes.
holy smokes, if you ever decided I'm doing a shell, I'm doing an Agata, I'm doing, let's see, let's just peek around that corner because
Yeah.
it might be doable. I don't know. You're 25. Where some people like Bob want to go up, sometimes going back, going down is who knows? You carve
Yeah.
your own path.
Yes.
It'd be interesting, man. It'd be interesting. Who are
Definitely.
you how did you find powerlifting? How did you start?
So I'm gonna throw it back. I went to SUNY Crowton, so a college upstate New York. And this gym, like this school gym was just influxed with powerlifters. So coming into college, I was a bodybuilder. So I actually competed in a show once. And I wasn't like this powerlifting strength guru guy. Like I just didn't have any sort of recognition to it. I saw that people were really strong and I seen like videos of people doing powerlifting meets and stuff like that. I knew what it was. But again, I didn't really quite understand that it would be this at all.
Mm,
Anyway, I get to the gym like one of the first weeks of school, and I see this absolute unit of a man, uh, Luke Graham. He's like one of my best friends, my first powerlifting coach. But anyway, he's like deadlifting 700 pounds for reps. I'm like, how much is that? Like, there's like 7 plates and some change in this. What is going on here? I'm like, I'm like big, right? I look at myself, I'm like, I'm big, but like, how is he so freaking strong? Like, I feel like I'm bigger than him, but like the whole like whatever. So I like for a while was doing my ego lifting, just going in and just I tried like copying them and what they were doing. I thought they were going heavy all the time. Just do your heavy sets and that was it. So I was going in there beating the crap out of my body. Like it was ridiculous. I was maxing out almost every session.
Mm.
Um, and one day I I'm like, you know what? Let me talk to Luke. And so I talked to him. He's actually at the time a bouncer. So on my way, like just walking down, I like see him outside, whatever. And I talked to him, and he was like, "Hey, like I'd love to coach you. You have a lot of potential. You're doing everything wrong right now, but let me help you like get there."
Yeah.
And it was funny because the way he said it was just like a full on roast. It was hilarious, and that's how I knew he was like my good friend. Um, But from there, I did my first powerlifting meet, and the rest was history. But that gym, that SUNY Cortland Student Life Center, is the reason why I'm sitting on this podcast right now. Because without any of it, a lot of these people that I met in the gym don't really powerlift anymore like that. But these people were the ones that brought me into the sport, and I'm like forever grateful. Like I tell them all the time, like Luke, like Tim, the other guy was at the gym, like if it weren't for you guys, like I wouldn't be sitting here doing this now. Like they still follow up with all my powerlifting stuff, and they're proud. But like I let it be known that it was them that got me into this stuff.
He he's where is he located, Luke?
Right now, he's actually living upstate New York, but he was living in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona for a few years. He's actually in the military now. He
That's
was
right.
yeah, 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 yeah. You probably
Dude,
know
I
of him.
think I met him. I showed up. I did like this is freaking God, man, like 10 years ago. But I
Yeah,
think he was running a meet. And like it's obviously close to the Canadian border.
right.
And me and some people came down and did the competition, met him in real life. He was like, because was he not an official, like a chairman or something, and like running meets and whatnot too?
I do know that the gym by his house, by his home, he like helped run the meets there and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, and it is like on the border where he lives. Like it is very, very close to the border. So,
Dog, I'm
um,
pretty sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this
He's a good
sounds,
guy. He's a nice guy. I'm pretty, because I know I was following him ever since then. And
yeah,
yeah, he went into the military and the whole nine. We're talking about the same guy, I think.
yep,
But yeah,
yep.
small world, man. It is what
Really,
it is. Yeah. So they got you hooked up and then you started following. What year was this roughly?
this was 2019, 2018, 2019.
And did you start like hopping online, start following people?
Yeah, I remember like one night I go on my Instagram and I'm like, hashtag powerlifting. And I'm just scrolling down and just finding like people that are motivating and strong people. Like, I'm just like, follow, 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 follow. And I'm just
Who
now like fully immersed in this sport of powerlifting. And like, that was it.
who was the early people you start following that like became your go-tos for motivation?
Ashton for sure. Sean Noriega was actually a very big staple. I would watch all his YouTube videos religiously. And I told him actually at Nationals, it was pretty funny. What else would I watch? Jeez, it was really like those two guys. Bob, obviously, like I got into a lot. Um, yeah, really like those three guys were the ones that I really looked at in the sport. Obviously, Johnny Candido was like another staple. Um, David Wilson, I watched a lot too,
Mm.
but really like Ashton was like the guy that I just wanted to replicate. I don't know, like I just wanted to be as jacked, as strong, and as nice as this man. Like he's just an all around solid dude.
Wouldn't it be wild when you finally face off with Ashton then?
Yeah.
When your idols become your rivals type of exactly that.
Yeah,
It'd
yeah,
be crazy.
yes,
And how about did you watch the Battle of the 83s?
yes,
How
yes.
crazy was that, man?
Oh my gosh. I mean, watching it, I was like, I was sweating. I was sweating. It was absolutely insane to see that battle. Insane.
Freaking the reemergence of Sean Noriega, first off,
Yeah,
talking about Sean.
yeah,
Freaking he was on the podcast. He was like just in terms of like an athletic pursuit, he was in a dark place where he had hit 825. Like he had crossed 800 kilos when that was the big cross for 83s. Only like three or four people had ever crossed over, like Russ, John Hack, Brett Gibbs. Like these are all time greats. I'm listing, and he
Right.
was like the fourth or something along those lines. Like all along the names that I just list, those are all time greats, and he was
Yes.
with them.
Yeah.
Just to put a proximity of, and then 825 when he hit 825, unheard of. Again, he was in super elite class of like maybe him, Russ. At that point, Brett. Like again, once again, he was like amongst the handful of people in history to have been achieving what he's achieving. And then the dark period came for his athletic pursuits. And he not only stagnated because he hit 825 again his next meet out. Okay, whatever, not bad. Like you're not always going to PR,
Right.
but then it actually rolled backwards.
Yeah.
And he talked about it. Where like and I mean not one or two meets or 1 or 2 years, even for years, plural, like
Yeah.
four, dogged pursuit of not giving up on himself.
Right.
Dogged pursuit of like, I mean, he rolled back. And that's why his reemergence in 2025 to do what he did at this nationals, and he came super duper close to podiuming. And I know it wasn't necessarily the finish he wanted, but he made a powerful statement.
Yes.
It was quite the freaking comeback for him. For
Yeah.
anyone who knew him when he was a junior and he was super hot and he was like on the way up to the dark ages, so to speak, for his athletic career. Some people will have joined powerlifting while he was in those dark ages and not fully understood. So when
Yes.
he reemerged as like a man pushing 30 on the other side, it's like, I don't know, it's just different. When you're in my shoes and you remember him as a kid, a junior, like, and the world was his. And then he went through that dark period, and now his reemergence on the other side of it as like he's like a totally different human being now, like as you would imagine.
Right.
Now that yeah, it's wild, man. Seeing people change, like all of us witnessing it, it's kind of cool to see him back like that.
Yes.
And it, like let alone at the top when like Joey B, like frick, what do you say about a guy 83 junior totaling 900 kilos? It's
Ugh.
crazy. And then Taylor Atwood,
I
freaking the goat, new fellow from New York, stand up and
yeah.
yeah, pushing like him being the one to reemerge again as well, like in his mid 30s, father, the whole nine, has a couple kids and he's doing this damn thing. Like it's wild, man. The fact that yeah, the 83s was it meant if you're a fan of the sport and you follow these guys from back in the day, it meant something for a bunch of different layers and levels like that.
Right.
Because people came back from the past. And if you knew them from the past, it meant a little bit more to be like, holy shit, look at this guy back showing like, and
Yeah.
not just Taylor at the top end, but again, like a Sean, or a guy like Delaney who was winning world titles. And despite the fact he was winning world titles, people are like, yeah, but you didn't beat Russ. And that was hanging around. And him podiuming and getting 867.5. I mean, he's 2.5 kilos off of Russ's best at Sheffield, and we are all blown away what Russ did to Sheffield.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just drops his squat and he would have been over that. Like he just went a little too heavy on his third squat,
Right.
just a stitch. Like I'm glad Delaney got his flowers again too.
Yes.
He's up there with those guys as a two-time world champ.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, it was wild. Like I love the layers to it, the layers of the story in that session.
Yes.
Um, yeah, the 83s. I don't know, man. I have a hard time trying to decide what was the big standout performance for me.
I know. I know. There was like I'm like reflecting on all of it too, and it was just all crazy to me. I mean, just like you said, talking about Sean, seeing him perform the way he did, knowing like what he's been through and seeing like everything. I mean, that was pivotal. Seeing Taylor squat 700 pounds. Psh,
Yeah.
what?
When he
What?
loaded seven,
Six,
Russ got out of his seat, came up to the fence and was like, "Oh shit!" And we all knew if Taylor hits this, it's gonna be it's gonna be him and it's gonna be Joey and Taylor. If he
right,
hits this, he's separating himself from the pack because Taylor, this is biggest, strongest we've ever seen. Like he's on,
right.
and Taylor hit that with like a little room to spare. I think it was the right call to make, but All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh shit, because Taylor's got a monster bench. Taylor can pull. All of a sudden, it was like, oh wow, what do we have here? Okay, and yeah, in terms of Sean, he could have hacked it in, lost hope so many times. You want to talk about diligence? It's easy to have. Some people have like two back-to-back bad meets, and they start making posts that are wild.
Yeah.
Sean was in the roughest of spots, athletically speaking. To hang in there and then come back after all these years, and it's one of those like those memes, welcome back, so and so. You know what I mean? It really is that.
Right.
Yeah, it was a cool competition, man. It's one of the wildest national events that I've ever seen, anyways. It's a good prep for you, anyways, for Worlds.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Definitely.
need this.
Yes.
Worlds is gonna be different. Look, I've done enough of these. That was good.
Yeah.
What's about to happen with you, sir? It's going to be a whole nother level. It's uh it's gonna be a whole nother. How are you for traveling? Are you all good flying in the whole night?
Yeah. 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 That's fine. Yep.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And have you done much traveling before?
Yeah. Obviously, to Turkey.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been to like a bunch of places. So it's not like the whole flying thing.
As long as you're used to like a big thing, if you know time zones and you prep yourself and cutting will be a little different, but it sounds like you got a good nutrition coach.
Yes.
But you've done Turkey. That's where the junior worlds is going to help in terms of experience levels. Like
Yes.
juniors offers that where you're like, okay, I know IPF, but world level officiating, I've done it. I've had to fly, I've had to do all these things, I've had to water cut in a different nation. I've done that. Check, check, check. That'll be
Yes.
huge for you. And PA Nats, most people's nationals aren't going to feel like a world's. PA Nats is cool. It's not worlds though. Like worlds is going to be a whole like open worlds is going to be a whole nother monster. You'll know when you get there. But if any nationals is going to prep you, it's going to be PA anyways, because
Right.
you got world champions there.
Right.
But this is this is going to be crazy.
I know. I'm excited just talking about like this whole conversation. I'm just like I'm ready to go, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I bet. And how long do you see yourself doing this for?
As long as I can do it for. I mean, I want in for the long run. That's it. I want my name to be
You're going to be like Taylor Atwood,
yeah, yeah.
mid to late 30s, a dad, two kids, and you're still like, I ain't giving up. The guy you're facing was in fifth grade when you won your first nationals, and you're like, all right, let's go to war, young man. Let's go to
Yes.
war, young
Yes.
man. You're gonna remember my name.
Yep.
Like that's what you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
How do you want to be remembered when it's all said and done? When you do hang it up?
I want to like that's such a good question. Wow. That is a
That's
really
a
good
tough one,
question.
dog. That's a tough one for a 20. When you're in your 20s and it's just starting. And
Yeah.
the reason why I like asking a guy your age and in your position this is because you haven't yet won the world title and done Sheffield, 1,000 kilos, 10 times body weight. But in years to come, when you've won world titles and you've done all this, I love when you've already officially said this on video and people could double back and pull this
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. No,
So
definitely.
think about it, because you're about to throw it out there and people are going to go back to it years to come.
Right. I want to I want to hear multiple time world champion, the 105 kilo weight class. And I'm going to say it. I want to hear winner of Sheffield. I don't know what year, maybe next year's not, but I want to be a Sheffield dub,
That would
Sheffield
be
champion.
huge.
Yeah.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
And if you do the math, I mean, that's what Keenan was doing the math, and he said it's possible. Um, and if it was possible for him, it's possible for you.
Yeah.
It's out there. Uh, Probably 1,000 kilos range, and we'll see how worlds all plays out. But
Right.
it's all in taking for you, young man.
Yes.
We'll we'll have to see. Well, listen, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Freaking congratulations on everything you've achieved. It's a hell of a story. And when you go to Worlds, man, nobody's looking past you this time.
No.
There's no flying under the radar this time. But
Yes.
uh, but now you're ready. And now you know your worth.
Right.
and your nomination speaks to how strong you are. So you don't got to worry about having an advantage over anyone. You got the greatest advantage. You will be the strongest guy in the room when you show up. You just got to execute. So
Absolutely.
good luck on everything, man. We'll
Thank
keep
you
in
so much.
touch.
Yes,
I'll
absolutely.
see I'll see you in Germany,
Yes,
and we'll chat then, my friend. We'll probably talk in the DMs before that.
you got it.
But thanks for coming on. And for everybody listening, as per usual, please do subscribe, give us high ratings, and until next time, six pack Lapadat, six up, and we are out.